All right, guys, how's it going? So I've been down to the garage. I bought today's Spanish football dailies for you. I went to the cafe. I had some coffee, 3 coffees today, and I've reviewed the papers for you to see if there's anything in them to do with Trent and Real Madrid, especially. I'd like to see what they're saying. You know, if they're talking about Real Madrid needing a right back and things like that, which they've been banging on for months, as you know. So if you don't have much time, I can tell you right now, there is nothing in any of the Spanish football dailies today about Trent Alexander-Arnold, and there is nothing about Real Madrid needing a right back. That's gone very quiet. They have not mentioned Trent since match day when Liverpool played Real Madrid in the Champions League, okay? But the right back chat has gone very quiet. In fairness, for a few days, they've not mentioned the centre back situation either. But since that Liverpool-Real Madrid game, they have spoke about centre-backs and needs one, but there's been nothing about a right-back. It's gone very quiet. So I'll keep an eye on that for you. All right, guys? So we will be talking in this video about Milli Vanilli, Mamadashvili. There's nothing about Zubamendi. There's nothing about Kubo. There's nothing about Aspas today. I like to talk about Aspas. So we're just going to take a general look at the three, just take a look at the 3 papers and see what they're saying in general. Obviously, they're talking about the Liverpool game this evening. There's some important things, not important, some interesting things in the video. In the papers, I found some things of interest, and you might too. So, Marca, the pro-Real Madrid newspaper, runs with the front page, Prohibido fallar más, which basically means forbidden to fail anymore, which is in relation to Real Madrid's Champions League game against Atalanta this evening. The Italians have not lost in the Champions League so far this season. The game has been described as a final, and Marca write, Real Madrid have no other priority than to win at Atalanta. They have forced themselves to return from Italy with a win if they do not want to find themselves in a mess in this new Champions League format. On the Liverpool game, Marca have a piece titled Even More Difficult, which is in relation to Girona facing the Reds after being thrashed by Real Madrid in the league 3-0, despite a good performance, just 3 days earlier. And they say, in the space of 3 days, Girona will see 2 of the biggest clubs and teams in the world pass by. Now, their manager, talking about Liverpool, said playing against them was always a dream as a player. In Vallecas, people always sang, next year, Rayo and Liverpool. And it doesn't matter if it's at Montilivi or Anfield. It's special for everyone enjoying it and competing to the maximum. And he said about Liverpool, they dominate all facets of the game. They play very dynamic football with changes of structure at any moment with top intensity and pressure. And on the possibility of beating Liverpool, he said, it seems that enjoying the Champions League means we can't compete, but on the contrary, we are very competitive and we want to grow. You grow in defeat. We never make fools of ourselves, and I get angry when that is said. There's an article in Marca which had the headline, The Almost Invincible Slots Are Here. The article talked about Liverpool's great form and statistics and touches on Arne Slot being an admirer of the Catalan team, who we saw many times last season, and who he has analysed for the performance of their fullbacks especially. They're saying he's been keeping an eye on their fullbacks, and especially Miguel, who is a 23-year-old left-back for Girona. And Marcus said that Girona will line up in a 4-3-3 against Liverpool this evening. Now, Mamadashvili, the incoming Liverpool goalkeeper, well, he's not the incoming Valencia goalkeeper. He's coming to Liverpool, as you know. There was an article talking about his current injury status. He is suffering from a rectus femoris injury. I looked this up for you. This is damage or a strain to one of the 4 muscles that make up the quadriceps group in the thigh. And the rectus femoris is a key muscle for knee extension and hip flexion, and it is prone to injury due to its dual role. He underwent tests yesterday. He wasn't taken off. He completed the last game for Valencia. If any kind of tear is detected, however small, it is normal that he will miss key games. Obviously, even if it's a small injury, he'll be out for a while. His manager was very concerned after their last game and described it as serious at the time. Yesterday it was played down a little. Today the information is a little bit contradicting, so we need to be cautious with that. Because this injury, you could literally be out for a week or 6 months, even longer if surgery is required. But that's what Marca were reporting. I can tell you that when we get to AS after this publication, that they say he's out for 3 weeks. Valencia, they're second from bottom, having played 14 games. They've won 2, drawn 4, lost 8. And they have 10 points and are 1 point ahead of bottom place Valladolid. But Valencia have 2 games in hand. Now we are moving on to AS. And their front page was Soccerista Vinicius, which is in relation to Vinicius at Real Madrid. And basically, it can be interpreted as lifeguard Vinicius or rescuer Vinicius. Basically, Vinicius, the lifesaver for Real Madrid ahead of their game against Atalanta this evening. Excuse me. His return to the side is extremely important to the Spanish Giants. He has 12 goals, 8 assists, and a feeling that he can change a game without anyone's help. Of the 4 games that he's missed for Real Madrid due to his muscle injury, they've only won 2. In the Champions League, he has scored 4 goals in 4 games. So big, like they're bigging him up big time, saying he's the answer. Hopefully to this evening's game. I'm sorry, I am carrying a bit of a chest thing at the moment, as you know. AS, they speak about Liverpool and Girona, and they say they describe the match as a dream come true for the club, for players, for the fans, and for the manager. And it says since May 4th, when they sealed qualification for the Champions League after beating Barcelona, the manager's been dreaming about it. He warned that he wanted Liverpool in the Champions League. He never got to face the Reds as a player, although he will be able to now as a coach, and it's his dream. I looked up a little bit about him. He was a midfielder. He spent the majority of his career with Rayo Vallecano. He also had a couple of seasons there as his manager. AS described Liverpool as scary ahead of this game. And there was some comments from the manager who said it will be a special day for the club, for the team and for the fans. We have to enjoy it and compete 100%. It's going to be a very nice day. I really like being there against Liverpool, and my dream is to beat them 1-0 with a goal from Stuani in the 90th minute. That's their striker. And touching on Georgi Marmadashvili, as I said, AS report that he will be out for 3 weeks and will miss games against Valladolid, Espanyol and Alaves. Finally, sport. Marca and AS are pro-Real Madrid, really. Sport is the Catalan paper, if you like, the pro-Barcelona newspaper. Their headline was Tension con De Jong, which basically is about tension, surrounding tension with De Jong. And it's about his poor performances and his refusal, sorry, I'm switching between languages. His refusal to undergo surgery on his ankle, which has been causing him problems. Talks regarding a new contract are also not progressing. So there's increasing arguments to make him available for transfer. They're getting a bit sick of him, to be honest. He's under contract until 2026 and he turns 28 in May next year. Sport on our game this evening, they're saying it's a historic encounter. They say it's an historic encounter against Arne Slot's almighty Liverpool. And they write, who'd have thought just a few months ago that one of the most important and mythical teams in the history of football would visit the very modest Montelivi. But that's life, and that's what Girona deserve. And now they want to continue enjoying what they fought for. So this is a massive game for this club coming up against Liverpool tonight. And I've got to be honest with you, what I found interesting was the manager's attitude. He's like, really going to enjoy it, you know what I mean? He sounds like a really good bloke. I've read a lot more that I haven't brought to you, so I didn't know if you'd be interested or not. But I read everything that their manager had to say. And he's like absolutely buzzing that he's facing Liverpool. Always wanted to face them as a player. Now he's got a chance as a manager. Talking about fans previously chanting, one day Liverpool. and he's just really excited and looking forward to it. And obviously he says he's dreaming of a 1-0 win. I hope he doesn't get his dream. But how nice to come up against someone that's, just humble and, like respecting Liverpool and not being, arrogant or something like that. So, I like it. I like the sound of it. So I'm looking forward to a bit of like football romance tonight, if you know what I mean. It's made me feel a little bit more like, I want to see this club and what it stands for and everything. So, I like that. I like that when that happens in football. I've been to Girona once. I'm not going to talk anymore about football now. I've been to Girona once, and I boarded a flight. I got on the wrong plane at Leeds Bradford Airport, a Ryanair flight. I am a frequent flyer, right? I know how it works. I know which gates to go to. I know what to do. You know what I mean? And which makes it even more bizarre, because when I got to the gate, it wasn't on the monitor above the the little desk, where they check your passport, and then they'll take the boarding card off you and they scan it, and it bleeps and turns green. What does that mean? It means okay, right? Go ahead. Valid boarding card. And I was the first person on the flight, so I couldn't. I wasn't joining another. I followed the Ryanair member of staff all the way down this like hallway outside at Leeds Bradford Airport to the Ryanair plane. So I scanned it and they went beep. Thank you, you know what I mean? And I continued this. So I went on and followed this. She was like, follow me, please. And I was the first one. I'm always the first on the plane because I know what I'm doing. Right? First on, first off. People know this, right? And because I ain't got time to fuck around. I want to get home or get to where I'm going, which is quite ironic, really. And so I board the flight and I sit in the seat that is, I think it was row 2D. 2D it was. Yes, it was 2D. I know this because it was the opposite side to where I usually sit. So I'm sat in 2D and everyone's boarding and everything. And it was, I could hear the captain, like, do you know what I mean? Like waffling away. They didn't check they don't check the boarding cards when you board the Ryanair flights anymore. And, the captain was speaking but couldn't hear him. He was really, really quiet. So, that's the point when they say, welcome on board this flight to wherever and that. So we're flying along. And I'm looking out my window, like, you can see out the windows every now and then, even though I'm on the aisle. And I'm thinking, it looks a bit different. I've never seen them mountains and that before, them snowy mountains and stuff. Didn't think anything more of it, And at one point, when we were airborne, I received a text message, so it must have been, I don't know how it happened, but, because we weren't landing or anything. And it was in French. You know what I mean? It was in French. And it just came... I was like, we must be over France then, something like that. Because normally nothing like that ever happens. Should have been in airplane mode. But anyway, it came through. It was just, again, it was something different. And then the plane landed. I'm thinking I'm landing at Alicante in Spain, which is the nearest airport to me. And and they opened the door, and I looked outside, and I was like, that's not Alicante. And I walked down the thing, and it said Girona on the thing, and I was like, am I in Italy? I swear down, I thought I was in Italy. And I was exceptionally confused. It's the most fucking confusing thing I've ever endured. So strange. And I walked into the building, and it was around the time, I think, of when you had to have... jabs and shit like that for flying, with the COVID. And I got there, and I'm messaging family, and they were like, you need to phone Ryanair and tell him. I went, have you ever... people that don't fly very often, they were like, just ring Ryanair and tell them and they'll just take you. And I'm like, it's their mistake, they were saying. And I'm like, maybe it is, because why did the scanner let me on that flight? And I followed the woman from that point to the flight. But I'm not really bothered about the blame. I just wanted to get home. And they were like, ring Ryanair. I'm like, yeah, just ring Ryanair. Yeah, hi, it's me. You've dropped me off in Girona, whatever. And when I got to there was a medic, they were all there in the white clothing and that, checking that you had the COVID thing. And I didn't have something. I don't know. There was something strange about it, because I'm like, I have residency in Spain, so they have to let me in the country, do you know what I mean? But they still said, we need to, oops, and they dropped my phone, it was on my fucking knee. They still said, but you never seen me move that fast. Well, there was that ice cream van in 1987. Anyway, so they took me and stuck that thing up my nose, you know what I mean, to make sure I didn't have COVID or something. And then I had to realise where I was. I had no idea where Girona was. I realised I was in Spain. At first I thought I was in Italy. And so I was stuck. Do I speak to Ryanair, and what they're going to do? They're going to take me back to England? Maybe. I don't think they would. I think they'd just said, it's not our fucking problem. You know what Ryanair's like. So I was like, what am I going to do? I had to get a map. I had no idea where Girona was. Seriously. And I worked it out. No flights from there to Alicante or anything, but there was from Barcelona. So, cut a long story short, I got a taxi from Girona to Barcelona airport, which I think was about 150 euros. Got there, managed to get a flight from there. I had to spend quite a lot of time at Barcelona in the airport. And then I had to fly to Alicante. It was just a really fucked up day. So I did Leeds, Girona, taxi to Barcelona, and then flew again to Alicante. It took me all fucking day to get home. It should have been like 2.5 hour flight, something like that. And everyone was like really concerned. They're like, it's disgusting, you know what I mean? And I was like, yeah. Do you know what? I've read about it before, Ryanair doing that to people, and they're like, they lose the shit in that. Do you know what I mean? So blame Ryanair, they want to get compensation. I was like, yeah, it's day out, wasn't it? You know what I mean? So I've never been to Girona before. So that's my experience there. At least I wasn't in Italy. But yeah, and I spoke to the Ryanair staff on my next flight, and I told them, I said, how did that work? When it should have like gone red and rejected me, and they said that, and they said, oh, it must have been faulty. Lesson learned. All right. So if you ever get on a flight with Ryanair or anybody else, make sure you can hear where they're saying it's going. Now imagine if I'd have been sat in someone's seat, I'd have worked it out, wouldn't I? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you think about it, I was in 2D. What if someone had got on and gone, excuse me, you're in my seat? I would have gone, what are you on about? Just weird, isn't it, how things work out? So there you go. Anyway, guys, I'll leave it with you. I'm so sorry. My chest is not great. I will crack on. Right. If you appreciate the video, please thumbs up the video. Please drop me a comment. And if you want to buy me a coffee, so that I can enjoy a nice cup of coffee when I review tomorrow's papers, there is a love heart under the video. Heart, super thanks, I think it's called. Yeah, super thanks. If it's not there, you can use the options in the video description. So there you go. A little bit of what's in the papers today. Nothing about Trent, nothing about Zubimendi, Mamardashvili. I mean, imagine if he was out for 6 months. It sounds like it's just going to be 3 weeks. Who knows? I think we might know a little bit more about that tomorrow. Or maybe there's news out now already. So I'll take a look at that for you. All right, guys. I hope you're all right. And let me know what you think about there being no news about Trent. It's interesting that it's gone exceptionally quiet since the Liverpool game. All the speculation, all the chatter. No mention of Trent. But equally, there's no mention of any other right-backs. Does that mean they've resolved the situation? Strange, isn't it? Let me know your thoughts. All right, guys. Take care.